value to live. How can you do it? I'm going to give you guys some pro tips. Don't abuse them because they're going to be a little cheesy. But I want you guys to keep it in mind that there are certain places on the point you could be, and there's certain times where you could step off and play completely off a point, like full on, outside in, with no repercussions to the rest of the army, and you're going to get massive value doing it, right? And I'm looking at weak side for that. How many of you guys in here probably or get slotted weak side consistently? Good talk. I'm gonna assume that at least a few of you. I see a lot of lacking on our weak side bruisers on their positioning and what they need to be doing and what they think they need to be doing, where they need to be playing, and depending on situations, you guys can do a whole lot more than what you guys already are. So the general macro for strong side or for weak side is play point, interact with crashes, and zergs in a timely manner. Play into the midline, push people off the top of point, play midline down, push them to bottom of point so we can crash on them. That's like the general basics. There's a few other things in there, though, that a lot of bruisers just don't seem to understand. You can step off a point. Weak side bruisers, you can play off a point. You can. If the G7 fight is in the middle, in the inner lane there on Bond, you have all the right in the world to step out there and engage it, depending on point tick. If you're defending and the point tick's relatively low, you see the G7 fight pretty close. Send to go, play combo off of each other. You guys can have massive impacts in that lane. I'm gonna tell you how many at the mid tier to like T2 range, G7s that extend a little too close to point for a main ball to step off and engage them. They are not prepared for it. 99% of the time they're not. And even all the way up to T1s, they won't expect you to do it. You guys can have massive impacts if it's done properly. Just something to think about. I don't want you to break your neck doing it. And it all depends, like, is point tick, if it's low enough. If you're attacking, guess what? You have all the right in the world to step off and just mollywop G7 if they're fighting too close to point. It's the same macro as strong side. I want you guys to abuse them if they step too close to point. Instead of letting them probe and poke fun at your guy at your top right, you know, on attack and bot left on defense, instead of allowing them to do whatever they want, especially if your G7 is struggling or the fight's extremely close to point, depending on point tick, I want you guys to start looking out there. Start looking out there. It's not just send your paths to destinies out there. You guys need to be stepping off and getting incredibly aggro. Make sure you're comboing off of each other, doing it correctly, and the implications to this, like the benefits for this, can be catastrophic for the opposing team. They could just lose. They will just straight up lose. Your G7 winning is, put it like this. What happens when your G9 extends into their healer pocket? It's a reset every single time. If your G9 makes it to healer pocket 99% of the time, they are forced out. They're either going to have to, either two things, their healer's going to have to relocate and they manage to survive because their main ball is that strong. But most of the time, it's a reset. The same thing applies if G7 penetrates up into healer pocket. The same thing. If their G7 gets pushed out and bullied hard enough, and your G7's penetrating top left and pushing off healers, blockading them, it's a reset. It's going to be like that every single time, right? And especially on attack, if you guys are able to penetrate into road as G7 with your quad DPS backing you, you guys are going to have a tremendous amount of value. So, top right on attack, bot left on defense. You guys are the one. These are the weak side bruisers I'm talking to. More aggression into that healer or into the G7 fight if it's close enough, unless they're off in Narnia fighting in ramparts, right? All right. Anybody got any questions on anything that you were confused about before we get started? Like anything you really don't understand? And I don't want to go over anything that you don't understand, but I'm gonna give you a chance to ask some questions, and then we're gonna go over just general macro for each quad. Good talk. Let's start with weak side, right? General macro, play midline, play off of each other, combo off of each other correctly, don't stagger your CDs, interact with crashes in a timely manner, and zerg accordingly, right? Top quad, you were pushing healers out, you were rebuking steppers from top, and you guys are playing into the midline, comboing off of bot quad. Bot quad, you were pushing down into bot, and hopefully in the goals to crash them, right? That's what you're doing. Don't forget about keep an eye on G7 fight. If it's close enough, you guys can engage depending on point take. Strong side, general macro on strong side, it's the same thing. Unless you're in oppo, unless you're standing in inner lane. If you guys are going to engage in inner lane, it's simple. you got to be incredibly spicy, right? It's hit and run tactics. It's call for sacreds. Your healer needs to be made aware of it because you could die instantaneously. Going up against like good players like Rug and all them, I'm going to tell you, even Rug and them, as being as top notch as they are, can still be pushed out by opposing bruisers. They just can't stand toe to toe with you, especially if you're doing it correctly and your G8 is actively fighting and they're there to hold space if you guys help them take it. Just know that they can't even hold you, right? But don't overstay your welcome. I see way too many bruisers overstaying their welcome in Oppo and just getting torn to shreds. You need to let your healer know we're hitting Oppo. Call for sacred, cleanse these engagements, and play accordingly. Don't overstay your welcome. And bot quad, when do you want to step out there? Pretty much at all times. Pretty much at all times, depending on point tick. If it's a little too high, like on defense, if they're getting up to around 35, 40%, somewhere right there, you're not really looking to step off as often unless the value is right on top of you, just on the edge. Maybe then you need to prio point a little bit more. You got to find that healthy balance, but you're looking to prio point much more after about that 35, 40% tick on point, especially on defense. On attack, it's about 40, 50%. You're looking to step back onto point. This is for your bot strong. But outside of that, you guys are full on sending Oppo. Right until your G8's pushed up past the 50% mark, bot strong, you guys are active in inner lane. You guys don't give up space. You guys are hard hanging out there. You're not going to spend the entire time out there. You're going to push them, take space, and then step back to point, interact with crashes on left side or right side, depending on what attack or defense. You guys are going to step back out there as soon as your G8 starts getting shuffled back because it's a back and forth out there. Top strong. When is it okay for you to stop going out there? If your oppo is pushed all the way to your back line, top strong, you're not going to go back there. You can play into bot left or bot right, depending on attack or defense. You can play into the your sister quadrant on point to try to pressure and push them back off in hopes that your G8's going to regroup and get another solid push. Your strong sides, maybe you guys can step out and collapse on them from behind. You could do a pinch maneuver or something like that. But outside of that, you're not going to be really playing in Oppo. If G8's not there and they're pushed that far out, you're not going to be standing out there because there's nobody there to hold the space if you take it. Even if you go out there and kill 3 people, what did you actually achieve? Maybe something, but likely nothing because there's nobody there to take the space. There's nobody there to hold it, okay? So top strongs, you guys are stepping out there when that fight is in the midline up to about the 50% mark, and you're looking to push that G8 up as high as possible, nearly to the edge of the top of the point. If you put a line straight into Oppo, that's what you're looking to do. Outside of that, it's back to point. You guys are hard pushing in the top center, but rebuking healers, giving G1 a hand. The G1 Bruiser, it's just him and the flail, right? And it's the top quads. So don't neglect those healer steppings. Good healers will step continuously. They do not give a fuck about you or your damage that you're going to do. They will roll out, heal themselves, and they're going to or clap and just catch themselves up in their group, right? It is a continuous battle, and G1 and flail, G1 Bruiser and flail, and even G2 Bruisers, there's not enough to go around to rebuke the healers if they're competent enough. So don't neglect your duties, and this goes for weak side too. Don't neglect it. Top weak, top strong, you guys need to be pushing those healers off. It is a continuous battle. Don't think somebody else is going to do it. If you see it, it's priority. Because I play for guarantees, and I think everybody should try to play for guarantees. I guarantee that I can go up there and push those 2 healers off the point and keep them from stepping. Right? That is a guarantee. That is guaranteed value. You know what else is guaranteed value? Not staggering your CDs and having something for the crash. I can guarantee that I'm going to have my shockwave and or depending on cycling of abilities on GA, I'm going to hold my grab for a moment. I know crash. We're going to be crashing. I can guarantee that I'm going to have massive impact in this, right? That's what you're looking for. I'm not misusing my shock in the middle of fucking nowhere, shocking targets as they run by like it means something. Like your Ren that you throw on them means literally anything. Outside of just wasting a CD that could have been utilized in a crash and or a combo off your secondary, you're just padding. It's completely dog shit. And you know how many bruisers do this? I even do it from time to time still. I'll catch myself shocking, thinking I'm about to do something, and there's an attempt in it, but I see a lot of bruisers that I don't know what the hell you guys are using CDs on. Like, what are we doing? What are we shocking? We're shocking these 3-4 guys? Okay. Well, they're instantly moving again. You didn't do anything. You didn't stop them from engaging or anything. You didn't really do anything. You rendered them for a moment. Everybody's full rendered all the time, every second, 90% of the time that you're on point. Your shockwave, your Sunring shock means dick. It matters to rend them as your debt's going off, right? As your shock debt combo. That's what it matters in a crash. Whereas other people doing damage to. That's where it matters. Right in that moment, so we guarantee that rend, right? That's what it matters. Utilizing proper shock debt goes is one of like the biggest misplays that I see most T3 and like even T2, a lot of T2 bruisers misplaying. Like I don't understand what people are doing. Does anybody here not know what a shock debt is? I'm assuming everybody in here knows. I see most of Gord, Bill. I know all of you guys know, but is anybody so new or moving from another role that you don't understand what I'm saying? Shock debt. Does anybody in here? All right, let's do this. Gord, what's a proper shock debt go? And I'm going to give you a scenario. I'm going to give you a scenario. It's a bot left crash. You were playing bot left. You were in your quad, and there's a crash on top of your head. Go. What's the proper go for a shock debt go?
Cleanse, pop Deado, then shock.
Okay.
No,
guys. Depending on positioning, this is how it's going to go down. I'm sure you know this, Gord, and it's just you can't get it off the top of your head. But shock debt goes are simple. They're one of the easiest things to do, right? They're much easier to pull off than like grab goes, right? There's a lot less, animation locks and all that nonsense. What you're looking to do, if you are face first to a crash and you like step back for a second, you rotate out of the you rotate out of the quad to turn and crash on it. It's simple. You're right there. You have plenty of time. 3 seconds on your debt. So you're gonna cleanse debt, go for that half heavy into shock. Half heavy into shock. You want that in power. And even if you are running Jasper, I don't care. Just go for the half heavy because you're not. What are you going to do? Sit there and look at them? Especially if you're like face first? Is somebody trying to ask a question? Okay. Outside of that, when you're like closing the distance from one side of the point to the other, and you're going for the shock deck go, there's times where you're not going to have the time to go for that half heavy and power go. You're just going to wind up.
But
yeah. So there are times it's situational, just like everything in war. You're playing against human beings, right? And you have 49 other human beings on your team. Shit just happens. Weird. There's not one war that's exactly the same. Nobody moves. There's always something different. It's just situational. You just try to make do with what you got. Depending on the distance, you might not have the time to do that half heavy. You're just going to get in there and try to line up. But know this: shock debt goes are really good for proper wrapping crashes. This meta, to put it bluntly, the higher end. You know how many people were dying average, like against Beasts and Cybao Wars and stuff like that? How many people were dying in average? What was the average death count in crashes? Does anybody know? It was one. One death. Yep. That was it. Every now and then there'd be like a 2 for maybe like a 3 for at the end of the war, but it was average was 1. People just don't die in them. A lot of that has to do with the skill of players that are playing. And they see these coming. They're paying heavy attention to the point. They see the motions across point, and they're playing heavy. They're playing close attention. Outside of that it's just the game has changed. The meta is still the same roughly, but enough things have changed that it's impacted crashes on point in a significant way. It's much easier to survive crashes than it is recrashes. It is. I see way more deaths in recrashes than in crashes themselves. Do you know who's going to has the highest chance to die in a crash? It's the one person that was at the epicenter of it. The likelihood that guy survives is very low. I mean, we're talking full consumes up, full stand bar, got his axe out, healer is actively ready and watching it. The stars have to align if the crash is done properly, and I'm talking proper wraps, proper body, and all that for that individual to survive. Right, that's why the average death in like the higher end wars is 1 kill. It's whoever was unfortunate enough to get crashed on. It doesn't matter how good you are; you just have to be very lucky to achieve it. But outside of that, proper wraps, proper bodying, positioning into crashes, anything like all these things contribute to massive impacts on point. Properly zerging and applying yourself to zergs. Who in here, and don't you fucking lie to me, sends deaths into zerg calls? Who does it? And I'm talking in comp wars. I'm not talking in these T3 whatever the fuck they are, right? I know for a fact some of y'all do it.
Yeah, I'm guilty.
Yep.
I want 100% send that bitch. I ain't gonna fucking cap. If people are low though, I mean, before you go on that subject, people are low though, and you can secure 2 kills. Same
I have sent a few.
Now, I could tell you right now that at times it's situational. Like I said, I play for guarantees. I guarantee you that unless you see them extremely low, and even then they might get caught with a heal, they might skate it. You don't know. You really don't know. What I know is in crash goes, there's much more damage going on. When it's an actual crash call, there is way more damage output. There's multiple deaths going off. The damage output is 10 to 15 times higher than a regular go, depending on how many people are actually sitting deaths in these things, right? And another thing, if too many people send deaths in these and you guys don't get the value, and a crash call is made within 5 to 10 seconds later and you guys don't have the impact in that, what happens in shitty crash? What happens if you guys crash, get little to no impact? What usually happens? They're either going to recrash or they're going to resurg you. If they don't have to just recrash you. That's where a lot of lower end companies don't understand. A resurg is just as deadly in a failed crash. It can be even more deadly. Fully zerg. And when it's called, if you guys see an enemy crash that's failed, they had a bumbled crash, little to no impact. They don't have the bodies on point. They had just enough to do it, and they kind of staggered out their go. It was spread across mid side or across bottom, and a zerg call is made. You better get your ass there because the value is astounding. They have nothing. You will walk into them and kill them. You're going to either kill them or force them off a point, right? Properly interacting with these zerg calls. But that's what happens when you have failed crashes. That's what happens when too many people are sending debts and abilities in zergs are 100%. These are ability goes essentially. That's what they are. You can send as many abilities and whatever you have in there. Debts are another thing. If you can guarantee it and you're playing that way and you are just that fucking gangster and in your VOD, you're like, look at this value, look at what I'm doing here. Then you get a massive thumbs up. But like I said, I play for guarantees. I can guarantee that I'm going to get more value in the crash with it. I am, because there's way more damage output. And I guarantee that I don't want my crashes to be unimpactful and us get blown the fuck up, because that's just how it happens. Even if they don't recrash it, you can be zerged out of it. You guys are going to lose the momentum. It's going to break your tempo. That's what I'm talking about. Like last night, the war last night with Gurge calling last night in Tenacity, it was an absolute roster stomp. 15K stood 0 chance. I'm going to tell you right now how locked in, and I don't think we murked anything on main ball. That was all Tenacity. Some of those guys were super rotational, and they just raffle stomped them. It was a massive check on Zergy. He would call a Zerg, and Tenacity's, they're good about one thing. They will listen. They're going to be there, and it was just a raffle stomp. They could not. We were balling up better. Our crashes were better. Everything was better. Everybody was interacting properly. Until the very end, until we had a crash call on bot left or bot right, and just before that we had three people send debts into a Zerg call. They got 0 to no value. We had a crash call within like 10 to 11 seconds later. They had no debt. People were trying to survive. It was on the first push. We had no value in the bot right crash, and we got absolutely smothered in it. They reserved it. They recrashed it. They pushed us off. They wiped us. Right. That was it. And 90% of that was chalked up to multiple people throwing debts into something they had no idea if the value was going to be got. They saw low health targets. I watched their VODs. It looked like, hey, there's a chance I could get some kills here. You got 0. They skated it. Outside of proper crash interaction, at times, some bruisers, depending on the situation, you're staggered out, you're CC'd out. You don't have the abilities to send, you don't have dead up for whatever reason, run back on respawn, whatever, right? Is it okay to, stay out of a crash? 100%. Now, it becomes a problem if too many bruisers are, staggering their CDs and you're just overusing your CDs, you're not holding something for crashes. That's a problem. That's like a low end problem. I don't see many bruisers like in like mid to top T3, they, the lower end, I see that that interaction. They're just overspending abilities. They have nothing for fucking crashes, and they're going in butt naked with butt naked deados. It's just not good enough. But we'll set it aside and say you guys have something, right? So there are times, even when you're trying to have something and holding something for crashes, that you don't have anything. What's the best play? What are you looking to do? I'm going to just ask somebody. Let's see. Let's Nizzo. Are you there, Nizzo?
Yes, sir.
If you can't interact with a crash because you just run back on respawn, and this is going to happen to everybody in here. What are you looking to do? What's your thought process? If I don't have anything for this crash, I'm not going to go to it. Right? You've made the decision. You're not going to go to the crash. You're not going to go, left clicking into this massive clump, and you're not going to risk it. You're playing on this side of the point. You're on right. That was a left side crash. I'm not going to that shit. I'm going to stay over here. What's your thought process? What are you looking to achieve over there?
Usually I make the decision to try to catch lows coming out of it.
Yes.
Try to catch
okay.
one or two.
All right. Good. There's multiple choice answers. There's only a few wrong answers, but here's the two right choices. Right? Look for healers to take space on the top of point and or on whatever side of the point, depending on if they've shuffled themselves, they've moved over or whatever. Look to rebuke healer stepping. Make sure you're playing your life because you are going to be left alone for a short time. They are going to be moving around. You're going to be left isolated. You can become a victim. But you're looking to rebuke healers, trying to take space and step to point, trying to detick or uptick, whatever the case is, and you're looking for value outside of that crash. They will be declumping. They are scattering for their lives. They 9 times out of 10, they've spent quite a bit to do it to get out, and they're vulnerable. They're vulnerable. That heavy aggro into them as they're declumping can absolutely shatter people's mentals. You might not believe it, but it does. That heavy aggression makes them feel like they can't get away. They ain't doing shit. Yeah, 100%. You can utilize what you have to get active into, like as it's wrapping. Let's just say it was a top right crash. You're playing midline left, a weak side. On defense, you're not going to that top right crash. You don't have anything for it, and you're standing there. You're rebuking healers stepping top left, and you're turning to your right. You see them trying to push across. They're trying to declump. Yes, 100%. Get in there. Catch them as they're moving out. Right. You're not going to dive that crash location, but you're going to pressure them as they're rotating out. Heavy aggression. That's what wins wars, and that's what breaks tempos. Right? You see an enemy crash. Who in here interacts with enemy crashes as they're dissipating? Even if it's not a crash, I'm not talking about recrash calls or anything like that. I'm just talking,
I'm talking right
use
as
Moors.
it fucking ends. Like if you
as it ends, you're
dodge
sending
the
those grabs in there.
deados.
You're comboing off you're trying to combo off your secondary. You're calming what you're doing. You're looking in there. That type of aggression really breaks up tempo. I don't see enough Bruisers doing that. I see a lot of higher end guys doing it, and I see a lot of T2s doing it, but no T3s really. They'll just run away. They just run away from the crash. They'll send a path of destiny through it. That's about the best you're going to get from them. They'll send nothing else. They'll stand there and watch them roll out, rotate point, step away, get bullied off the side, whatever the case is. Pushed in the bot, who knows? I see a lot of that. Get active. Force them to play your game. They're crashing? Okay, that's fine. Let's get active in it. People are vulnerable exiting those things. It doesn't matter if it was called or not. Hopefully the caller is competent enough and they're making it happen, but you don't see it often. I'm just going to use Morris as an example. What's Morris's worst aspect as a caller? Does anybody know it? His recrashes. That's what it is. Does he recrash from time to time? Sure. How often? Not often enough. I could tell you that. Nowhere near enough. Him and Ford are two sides of the same coin, right? Ford will recrash like a motherfucker. Morris will not. He does not like doing it. He likes to set it up. He likes to watch the rotates out. After they crash, he'll watch them moving. And at times, that is the better play, right? Then there's times where recrashes are the play, right? So it depends if you can find that healthy balance. Hopefully, whatever caller you have has found it and they're able to achieve it. The main issues I see Bruiser's having across the board is 3 things. These 3 things are what makes a good bruiser, a great bruiser. Like, I'm just going to point them out. Like, if Whirl's, in an actual comp war and he's actually trying, he's up there. Beefy, Sweezy, all of these guys, right? 3 things that set them aside from everybody else. Does anybody know what they are? Can anybody take a guess? It's simple. You know it.
Hands.
Yeah, they got 2 hands. Yeah, that's it. That's actually it. But I was looking at a DM. Yeah, the 3 things that really set these guys aside is the first 2 things are going to be simple. You're going to be like, yep, proper micro. That means they're not stamming out for no fucking reason. It's sheer survival. They're not spinning CDs outside of crashes. They make sure they get value out of everything they use. And they properly play group comps, right? They are properly comboing off their secondary, and if they're on point, they're properly calming what they're doing and where they're looking, and they're looking for value actively. So they're not overspending. They make sure they have stuff for the crashes. They have proper micro. That's no stam outs. Their consumes are on point. Boom. There is no downtime between consume usage. They have it on point. They're not overspending stam. It's your survival. They know where to place themselves. They're looking for value. They're not just trying to left clicking red lines until they find the value. They're not just playing for crashes. They're actively engaging these individuals, setting crashes up, moving around point, stuff like that, or up and down whatever side of point that they're whatever quad they're stationed on. That's what sets them apart. So micro, proper consume usage, proper stam usage, not fucking their CDs up and actually getting value with them. Number 2 is simple. It's simple. Consistency. They consistently do this. There isn't a war where they're not going to be playing like this. It doesn't matter if they're merking for, the lowest end, or fighting order in its prime or anything like that. They're going to play the same in every single war, right? And people have they cut up and have fun if the war is turned into a farm, but they're going to go in there and they're I guarantee you they're going to try originally until everybody realizes it pretty quick. Okay, this is a fucking farm. We can do whatever we want. This is OPR. Let's have fun. But at the end of the day, they definitely their consistency in everything they do. They don't have one good war and then drop a 5-1 or a 5-0 or a 7-0 and then drop 2 wars back to back with like fucking 3-8, 3-7, 1-8, 1-9. This doesn't happen like that. If it happens and they get farmed out like that, it's because it was a complete and utter fucking raffle stomp, farm stomp on one side or the other. But there's not going to be a consistent thing from them. You won't see it. You will not see back-to-back wars them playing like dog shit. It won't happen. It's consistency in their gameplay. Everybody needs to try as hard as possible. It's not, oh, we're going up against Merc Signal or something like that. We know they got a heavy roster. And you're nervous. It's okay to be nervous, but when you're playing them, when you're actually out there doing it, just know that if you play like shit, I'm disappointed, and don't disappoint Dad. Okay, don't do it. Everybody's capable of proper micro. It's entirely on you as an individual and a player to fix this and to get better at it. Only thing that players like me can do is point it out. Like, why are you stamming out here? Why are we using this cleanse here? I don't understand what you're doing. You're waiting far too long to hit serum. You've had so much downtime. It's free time. Why aren't you pathing this enemy? Crash. What are we shocking? We should have held grab there. Why aren't we interacting with this crash quicker? You need to disengage faster. Things like that. Why aren't we calling for sacred? You're standing right next to a sacred, getting the shit beat out of you. Why aren't you stepping into it? That type of gameplay, it's entirely on you to fix this, and how you do it, how you achieve it is reps, wars. Because I'm going to be real with you. You can only learn very little from OPR. OPR is okay, and I highly suggest, that's good training, that's good practice and whatever for certain things like stamming and, playing solo, playing life, and all that nonsense, but it really comes down to reps. You need to have multiple tunes in multiple companies that are warring, not just one. It ain't going to cut it. You are never going to get better at the game. You could. It's going to be very slow. I highly suggest having 2 or 3, at least 2, 3, 4. And there's plenty of companies that are warring. And yes, if you're competent enough, you can get into at least a couple of them. And reps is what's going to take to get your micro down. So proper micro gameplay, consistency in your gameplay. And number 3 is VODs. VODs. You're your own worst critic. You know how many times I watch my VOD after a war and I'm schizophrenic about it? I'll watch it several times. Just after the war, while it's fresh, I'm watching it again. I do it every time. I know for a fact I made mistakes in it, and I always make. It doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to make a mistake or two. I know I made mistakes, and I work on it. I take a mental note of it. Don't let it happen. I've changed so much of my gameplay over the years of just rewatching my own VODs. Be like, damn, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing here. And then I'll start picking things up from individuals that VOD me, like Sweezy, Beefy, World that VODs me. I pick things up from them. Not everything they tell me I agree with, but for damn sure I know what I'm looking for, and I'm looking for information that I don't quite have my mind wrapped around, which the game is, I pretty much have it figured out, but there's always something new that how they implement something in the game, right? And I'm like, yeah, maybe that's not bad. Maybe I can try that out. How they interact with something, how they do something, and it works for me too. So proper VODs reaching out to individuals, getting your gameplay checked. Don't be embarrassed about your dog shit gameplay. I can tell you right now, nobody gives a fuck. Just reaching out and getting your VODs reviewed is the first step. That shows everybody you give a fucking you want a war. And this is how you learn. It is. Don't let anybody, belittle you and talk major, like real shit. There's shit talk, but I'm talking like real shit. Be mean. We don't have time for them. But reaching out and get your VODs reviewed by different people. Don't sit with the same person. Like, oh yeah, Trix reviews my VODs. He always reviews my VODs. I've learned so much from Trix. There's other people out there. There is, and I highly suggest finding different individuals to be VODed by because you can learn something from each one of them. You really, truly can. Because Sweezy doesn't do everything how I do it. World doesn't do everything how Sweezy does it. There's different aspects to everybody's gameplay. Little things, little niches that set them apart from most players. And you want to be able to eat that information up. So I highly suggest finding them. Reaching out to everybody. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter if you know them or not. Just go out of your way. Try to be friendly. Get your VODs reviewed. All right, I've rambled for a very long time. Here's a pro tip. Where's the least likely section of the point to be crashed on? And this goes for attack and defense. Which section of the point is least likely to be crashed on? Does anybody know the answer to that? Somebody make a guess.
Bottom strong.
Top
you're-
league.
Okay. All right, calm down.
I was pretty confident that.
All right, we're all over the
counts for
place.
something,
the entire
huh?
point is the answer. That's what we're looking at. No, there is one place in particular that is the least likely to be crashed on consistently. It's bot mid. Bot mid. Why? Why is it? Most crashes, not all of them, definitely not all of them, but a significant portion of crashes are done to where? Enemy bottom, your top. Where do you guys crash more often than and it could be like bot strong, bot left, whatever the case is. Your top strong, you're crashing there. It happens like that. But bot mid, directly below the flag, is the safest area on the point. And it truly 100% is. I challenge anybody to pull up some Whirl VODs right now. Let's watch where he's playing when he's on point. Where's Whirl at? I could tell you where he is. I could tell you where he is most of the time. He's bot mid. Why is he there? Because he knows. It is the freest location to play on point. Yeah, you have to mind wherever you're at, but that is 100% the freest location for Bruisers to play. It is the least likely to be crashed on, directly below the flag, bot mid. Not quite all the way to the edge because you're risking being, getting your fucking dick yanked off by like a point spear or something, but bot mid, directly below the flag. Don't abuse that, guys. I don't want to. I've told some people this, and I see them. I see them on my rosters.
That's what I was just thinking.
Those motherfuckers are sitting down there, and I'm like, if you don't,
why are all the bruisers bot mid in this?
Dude, I can see it's like they're just living their best life down there. It's like, first off, you're neglecting your entire side of your point. It's okay to play in this. How do you utilize something like this? Well, for one, if you're playing point, is one of the safest places to play into bot left, bot right. As G2 Bruisers, they utilize it a lot. They're going to be ping-ponging around down there. You could take a breather there. Believe me, you'll do it. Bot weak and bot strong. You could play into bot mid and chill out there for a short time if you're getting hard rebuked. G8, hard pressuring into bot strong on defense. On attack, step to the midline. You don't have to rotate all the way into road. By the way, rotating into road for survival is dog shit. By the way, unless you're hard losing, I don't know what we're doing. Stop going into road, right? Sometimes, there's situations sometimes you have to, but don't make it a habit. That running into road shit's dog shit, and it's just completely victim. It's complete dog shit. And every time I see Bruisers rotating into road, consistently doing it, I just know that this person, he's not up to par. He's not that good. It is what it is. Unless you're getting hard farmed off the point and your entire main ball is decimated, sure, do whatever the fuck you have to do then, I guess. But in an actual back and forth, an actual comp war, that running into road and then stepping back to point, all that nonsense down there, that's just garbage. Stop doing that. Figure it out on point. And if you're playing bot strong on attack and or defense, and their G8 is, your oppo's in disarray, their G8's penetrating into your bot left or top right, well, it's easy. Just rotate into bot mid. Loop around. Get behind them into the midline. It's simple. There's sometimes you can achieve that, and that's okay, but don't run into that fucking road consistently. It's one of the most dog shit gameplays I see. I hate it. All right, anybody got any questions on anything I didn't? There's a lot of shit I didn't touch on, but this is like a clinic. I just want to go over some onesies and twosies. I wanted to make our weak side bruisers aware that you are able to step off the point and get active in the G7 fight if they are close enough to point and the point tick is, low enough and or not high enough. Does anybody not agree with weak side bruisers stepping off? Weak side bruisers stepping off and playing outside in, depending on tick as defenders. When they zerg to left side or they're right, you're left. On defense, you can 100% step off if you guys are still in control of that point. Don't think you have to, beat your head against the wall and stay on point. You don't. You have all the right to step off, play live, outside in gameplay, super cheesy, step back in, take space when it's given. I see a lot of weak side bruisers just getting absolutely dumpster fired. It's because they try to stay on point for far too long. It's like, well, depending on tick, are you defending? Are you attacking? How much tick is there? Sure. Is the G7 fight close enough? Maybe we get active in that. You hard win that G7 fighter. You hard push them out. You hard rebuke them. You guys are looking good. Trust me. If your G7 is competent enough and they realize what's happening, they are going to take heavy advantage of that. It's going to turn the tide of the fight heavily in your favor. I don't see enough weak side bruisers doing that, so that's why I wanted to touch on that earlier. Don't forget what I talked about with the three things: consistency, reaching out, getting your VODs done, actively listening. Don't always have an excuse for everything. Oh, I was doing this because of that. Just say, okay, yes, gotcha. Even if you know what's being told to you. The game's been out for like 4.5 years, 5 years. The game's figured out it. You know most of the game. You're just picking up little tips. Just agree. Okay, all right. What he said there, that's nice. I like how I like how he's explaining that. I'll try that. That's what you're looking for. Nod your head, agree, move to the next one. Multiple VODs at a time. Each VOD, you want to get at least one or two perspectives on it. It's like, I want a second opinion. Yes, that's what you're looking to do. Consistency in your gameplay. This isn't, I had a great war. Damn, I got fucking farmed for like 3 wars, right? Was it a complete farm or was it an actual comp war? I see bruisers dropping like 5, 6, 7, 8 deaths in like wars that you're winning. Like, what are we doing? Like, usually it's around that 5 to 6 mark. That is far too high in a winning war. Something terrible is happening. Either Oppo's in complete disarray and these are strong side bruisers and they're just getting decimated. Guess what? You don't have to play on that side of the point, guys. You don't. Calm to your caller. Oppo's lost. We're dying. Strong side needs help. First off, he has
play the winning side.
There's a multiple choice answer here for your caller. Either one thing, he's going to try to commit the point team to it, and or he's going to call Zerg and crash calls depending on the how the point gets swaying back and forth depending on what's Oppo and on point. And if nothing else fails, guess what? You don't have to play over there. You're going to be playing into top mid, top bot mid, into that left side. It's going to be incredibly hectic gameplay. You guys are losing. Just let you know, it's not going to be easy to play into that left side and play left to right. It is not. You guys are actively losing. Your Oppo's gone. It's going to be hard to overcome what's happening. But it is playable. It is doable. It's going to be hectic and annoying, but it can be done. You don't have to throw your lives away over there trying to take space into strong side when your Oppo is just completely decimated. That shit is crazy. I see bruisers doing it all the time. The same thing with strong side bruisers stepping off into Oppo, and they're like, "Man, we're doing our job. We're getting all these kills. We stepping out. Who's out there to hold that space? Nobody. Your G8's dead. 9 is being pushed back into Narnia. Guess where 10 is? Who the fuck knows where 10 is? They don't exist unless they win or lose. So we don't know where they are. They literally don't exist to you. So it's a lot of misplays on the macro on strong side. A lot of misplays. Bot strong, you're looking to push them up to about the 50% mark, maybe a little further. If the value's there, then you're pulling it back to point. Top strong, you're looking to help them. Achieve that 50% mark, maybe a little bit further, pull it back to point. Interact with crashes on left side. It is okay to abandon crashes on weak side. If you're a strong side bruiser and you find yourself in inner lane, there is no way in hell you're going to make it to that crash in time, so don't even think about it. Utilize your abilities and your debt. By the way, unless your caller tells you not to spend it, or that is how your company does things, your debts are yours to use in Oppo, guys. As long as you are doing it as a group and playing together. Find the value, get it. Another thing I'll touch on is group gameplay. Yep. There's not enough of it going around. Just in Tenacity's war before the last, where they got absolutely fucking shit farmed. I brought an individual from 3 different groups, all 3 quads. No gameplay together. Have it be when Bruiser's not talking. Maybe he was muted clearly. You know, that's fucking it up. They're not playing off of each other. They're not communicating. One quad, just 2 Bruisers, they're completely retarded. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're not going to be slotted anymore. I can guarantee you that. But that set aside, they're not playing off of each other. What do Bruisers individually achieve? Very, very little. I can tell you that. You can set all 11 Bruisers on point and just tell them, start left clicking. That's pretty much what it is. They're left clicking all these different targets. They're not calming who they're looking at, what they're doing, and if they do calm something, it's very little. They don't follow through on it, or they'll abandon what they're doing fairly quickly because they have no other comms from their secondary. And if they are calming, they can't get, they don't understand that, okay, I need to drop the ego and maybe get with this guy that's calling top left, right? Or left mid, and I'm playing top mid, and I'm getting value here. Find the balance. Get with them, find your own value, calm them. Where are you? Ask your teammates, where the fuck are you if he's not responding? Don't get super mean about it, but if he doesn't respond after that, then, fuck him. You did everything you could, so it'll be seen in your VOD. That other individual will have to deal with it. But quads actively playing off each other and playing properly off of each other, comboing off of each other, calming what they're doing, who they're looking at, staying on the same target for longer than a second. You left clicking multiple targets. I'm looking at Trix, top left, and then, Trix runs to your left, but I'm still relatively close. I'm well within range. And then Dove Bar is right there, and you're already left clicking him because you lunged onto him. Dove Bar. It's like, well, maybe we stick to Dove Bar now. Don't split again up and up. Now we're on fucking Bussy. Okay. That's dog shit gameplay. Find some targets, actually apply some pressure to some individuals, force them to play your game, force them off of point, out of position. That's what counts. Calm for your sacred so you can take position in hairy situations. Combo off of your secondary. I'm looking to grab. Do you have grab? Do you have shock? Yes. That's impactful gameplay. That's when you see actually good players. Like, listen, we could pull up. Who's got a VOD? Who's got a VOD that they're, and don't give me anything that you feel like you did worse, and give me what you feel like was your best VOD for most recent. Anybody got one of those that you actually did really well in? It doesn't have to be a super comp war, but you did great and you felt really good about it. That we can pull up and give it like maybe about a 5 or 10 minute watch, and then we're going to call it. Anybody got anything for me? Damn.
All right. If nobody's gonna fucking give
Nizzo, give me some dog shit gameplay to look at.
Dog shit gameplay. Yeah, I got my Grams fucking K6 VOD that I was really focusing on shit you've told me in the past. So we'll give you that one. How about that?
That's fine, man. This isn't a VOD review. We're just gonna look
I
at
mean,
gameplay.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was hard focused on my Stam this war and nothing else. I just DM'd you. I was literally just focused on Stam because I've been struggling lately. You know what I mean?
That's fine. Listen, stamina is one of the biggest obstacles that a lot of bruisers have to get over. Like, just starting out bruisers, one of the hardest things to overcome is stamina. Guess what the second hardest thing is? Comms. Unless you're just an automatic vocal bruiser, right? A vocal individual, and you talk a lot anyway. Like me, I talk a lot. I
usually just say stupid shit. So I just be talking.
Those are the hardest things to overcome in New World. Proper stam, calming, stuff like that. All right, this is dog shit gameplay. I hate it.
There it is. Oh yeah, hey, thanks for the couple pennies.
Couple of pennies? Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be like half a cent for my fucking VODs. Thank you. Appreciate you. Love you.
Yeah. What's the time on this? That's good.
I died twice, and they're both very avoidable. Just so you
Let's
know.
take a look. We're just going to take a look, and I'm going to point out a few things. What quad are you playing here?
Point.
Yo, your point. Okay.
I'm not even seeing anything.
You can't see the VOD?
You might
I
need
can
to-
see it.
You might need to reopen stream if it's not loading for you. It's working fine for some of us. Probably just reopen
Okay.
the stream if you can't see it.
I'll say, damn. Something on my end. Okay, I don't care about none of this. Let's get to point.
Little TLDR. We went into this knowing it was going to be a farm, so like I was only focused on Sam, right?
Damn, so you linked me a farm VOD. Brother, point team is in Oppo right now.
Dude, I get
Yeah,
one
I'm done
war
with
a fucking month, dude. I get one war a month
Yeah,
because
you're
I'm fucking
done.
working.
You're cooked.
Yeah, you're right.
Dove sent me a VOD. Hold on.
There you go. Yeah, let's get a. Hey, nobody else said nothing. I'm sorry, dude. Shit.
Point team's living their best life in Oppo. Like I was like, yeah, this is definitely looking rough for the enemies here.
Oh, wait,
And
why
then I
can't you
see,
farm like that in IHOP? Wait, hold on.
yeah, for real.
To be fair, they did actually cap 2 points. It was a 1 point hold. It wasn't a fucking absolute wash.
All right, who is this? Icicles versus Tenacity. Is this where y'all blew us out of the water? Yeah, ain't it?
No,
that
this
was
is
in-
what we got 1 point held here. This was like a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
2
okay.
weeks ago, actually, on the dot.
I'm gonna say, damn, this is y'all fucking hard farm this. Fuck. Stood 0 chance. I think I died the least amount out of everybody at 2, and my healer was dead 6 times that war. I was like, what the fuck?
I'm just playing at the point. I'm just playing at the point. I'm just playing at the point. I'm just gonna start ticking. I have a big gravel left side, yeah. Oh, I'm east, kind of. I'm walking. I see.
Can anybody hear the comps? I need to turn it up. I probably need to turn it up.
I hear it.
What quad are you playing here?
We are top strong.
Okay.
Just yeah, there's like 5 healers here swinging.
I'm coming. Yeah, I'm just working my way up.
Exactly what I was talking about earlier. You see healers. They're uncontested. You just interacted with. You're not going to turn around. You could, to be honest. But you just crashed down bot. You see healers stepping top, taking advantage of the space given. To be fair, you guys haven't even really gotten on point all the way. But you see these healers stepping. Nobody else is dealing with it. It's your job. Congratulations, you're G1. Congratulations, Bruiser. You welcome to point team for a short time. You have to deal with it. It's guaranteed value, guys. Guaranteed. You know how many bruises I see just disregard this because they're like a bot quad, but they rotate out and they're just like, okay, what do I do as it's being recrashed and all these healers are stepping? Nobody's touching them and they're standing right next to them. It's crazy. It's your job too. It's everybody's job on point, by the way. Not just point teams. Yeah. Good.
Good. Everything good on A. Yep. Healers off now.
Good.
Yeah, shock
Still
up
just swinging top.
I have everything here.
Big AB top. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, with you top.
I'm shocking this.
They still have this way.
Holy
Left
stagger.
mid top.
Alright,
Big yeah, I see.
We're dead on left side. We're gonna be looking left side in 3, bot left in 2, mid left now, and see mid left.
A little bit left. Secret half. 1 HP.
I don't know.
Ignor's top left.
Yeah, I see him.
He's out.
I'm on him.
Yeah, passing through.
Proper comps.
I shocked the
Proper targeting.
Big. I'm here.
Healers are stepping and pulling back top.
Yeah, I'm shocking here. Careful, they're gonna dog.
Yep.
I'm playing loose.
You have the money here.
He's utilizing the fact that he's just top of point. He's actually rebuking healers. All proper.
I'm in it.
Yeah, pull top.
I'm pulling top. Yeah, I'm here.
Let's get to the 50-50. This is good.
Step out more and try to help that out.
I guess we can. I know it's so cooked, but it's not a bad idea.
Start pushing in.
Okay, let's just push it. I'm shocking for you.
Big. Spinning the back.
Look at that. I'm actually grabbing Gordon here. I'm paying.
I see you.
Okay, first off, calm down.
There's like 50 kegs.
Yeah, I'm overheating for sure.
I saw that. I was like, broke the hill crest, dude. Holy shit. Alright. I don't see a keg here. This is good. Wait, I'm on a curd? No, he's trying to bait into a keg.
All right.
Where's the keg? Hold up.
The push has been called. This is far too passive gameplay right here, by the way. And this is from your whole roster. I don't know why we're LARPing here for so long. Yes, it's not easy. They are hard winning this area. You got to push, though. Somebody has to break the tension, right? This is crazy that we're still here.
You're good, you're good, you're good.
Like, where's the rest of the K? I don't know.
Thank
But
you. Oh, I'm loose.
this is
I'm out of your way, I'm out of your way. Yeah, you're good. I'm holding them off you.
Yeah, thank you.
proper calming, secondaries peeling. This is good.
Start bringing it in, bring it. Push
This guy's being an absolute menace.
I'm walking and walking and walking and walking in.
Yeah, like 5 seconds.
I'm not gonna lie, this is brutal that your roster is split like this. This is why you guys are having such a hard time here. This is pretty bad.
I'm pulling. I'm gonna just pull the left side to be honest here.
That's it, yeah. Pull left.
It's pretty fucking ironic, but you know.
Chuck. Here you go.
Big.
They're sticking on you guys.
I have
mid.
shock. I have shock. One for grab.
Oh,
Yeah.
if
One
you
dark,
jump down
dark.
here, I might die.
Yeah, grab his arc.
Hold on, play
Yeah,
life,
that's
play
it. I'm
life.
shocking. Oh, holding.
I'm stuck in a wall.
Hear the comms between them? I'm looking to shock it. Grassy wants to come up and shock that grab. That's the combos I'm talking about, guys. This is what matters in quads. If you can't play like this with your secondary, you can't calm what you're doing. You can't follow up what they're doing. If you're out of position always, sometimes it's just how it plays out. You guys aren't near each other, but you guys are going to round up. Guess what? You got an anchor spot. Midline, your quad, yada yada, right? If you're not doing this consistently throughout the VOD and or out of each war or trying your best to achieve it, then you're not playing properly. If you guys are playing solo, off left clicking, even playing into where you need to be into the mid lines, this and the other, and you guys aren't playing off of each other, it's just not as impactful as if you guys are comboing off of each other. It's that big. You guys need to. This is how you take space. This is how you bully, individuals into positions of, disadvantage, into a disadvantage position, like pushing them into bot, forcing the space on midline into bot, easier crashes. That's how it's done.
You're stuck in the
Oh my
wall.
god. Yeah.
Where are we
It's over.
going? Bottom right in 3, bottom right in 2, bottom right now, bottom right. Chris can die. Nice. Nice. Spread out.
Oh, no.
Not gonna lie, I would have probably held,
I'm good. I'm loose. I'm good. I'm fine.
but I see the thought process.
Yeah, I was so far from it. I got like, it was just up for it.
Where's AB?
2 seconds up
Yeah,
left.
I'm grabbing top left on him.
Okay, oh, bad guy.
Right side in 2, top right now, top right.
I mean, I can't get to it.
All right, let's not look at that.
Yeah, I was bad.
This is not going. Yeah, I don't like the path there, but you know what? Sometimes that happens. But it achieved what I wanted to look at. Proper comms in between the Bruisers, trying to play off of each other as best they can. That's what I was looking at. I was looking at for anything that I've been preaching about for the last hour. You gotta make it happen, guys. Properly playing off of each other. This is what makes. This is what wins wars. You could put 11 T1 Bruisers, 11 Sweezies, and have them play all in different areas and just left click, never calm to each other, never say a word, not do anything, and they're not going to have as much impact as you might think. The best player, doesn't have to be Sweezy. Whoever you regard as the best player, best Bruiser, you could put 11 of them on point and have them never speak to each other or do anything or properly play off of each other or anything. And while they're going to do okay, they're not going to do as well as even like some T2s or T3s that are properly playing off each other. You guys will have way more impact. You really will. Just remember that. Anybody got any questions for me before we wrap it up? I'm going to have some videos. I said this before, but a lot of y'all didn't hear it. I have 2 videos. One that's already almost done. I'll be finishing up today, and I'm going to give them. They're going to be probably pinned somewhere, probably in the Bruiser chat. It's going to go over other little things like things with gear and how I situate myself and how I little niche things. So you'll be able to go over that and watch it. But does anybody have anything else for me? Anybody have any questions? Nobody's really asked any questions. Everybody knows everything. The game has been out for almost 5 years, so it's to be expected, I suppose.
5 years from now, what can I do to have made you happy about my bruising?
No gray barring outside of survival.
All right, sounds good to me.
Don't stagger your CDs and proper uptime on consumables. Those 3 things right there, and you're well on your way I'm gonna be completely real. Those are big. Proper micro. That's how you see like these bruisers, hardly dying. It's doing all this fucking damage. Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's cheese. Don't get me wrong, but they have. Let's take a look at their assists. They're out assisting you, out damaging you, less deaths. How are they achieving it? Are they in healer pocket? Well, let's take a look at them. No, okay, they're on point doing it. How are they doing that? I could tell you, proper stand management, proper uptime on consumables, and hypervigilance. Also, don't give your back. Here's a pro tip for everybody in here that doesn't really, find yourself getting crashed on. Don't give your back to flag for more than like 3 or 4 seconds. So if you're looking into top right and you're attacking healer, stepping to point, you got 3 or 4 seconds and you need to pan your camera. Why do we do this? What's the thought process? It's to see shit happening. You can't see enough with your back to flag for too long. You can't see proper rotations. You can't see swings on point. You're going to get crashed on. And even then, sometimes, if it's done well enough and you're going up against the hard enough, hitters, they can still pull it off and you're not going to be able to catch it in time. You're going to get caught. But this is how individuals see it. This is how they float off. This is how they skate them. They're not giving their back to flag for too long. They're not putting themselves in a situation where they're heavily outnumbered for too long. They'll play into situations and then break away, float away. That's how they achieve these things, these low death counts. All right. I appreciate everybody coming. It might not have been what you thought, but I just wanted to go over what I think makes good bruisers good bruisers. It's not what I think. It's what it is. It is. Proper micro, which is everything from stamina to consumes to proper comms. All of that falls under micro because that's your control. Macro is what we tell you to do, what the roster's telling you to do, what the raid plan's telling you to do, playing into the midline, that type of gameplay. That's the macro. Everybody knows the macro. Like I said, the game has been out for many years. It's the micro that really sets bruisers apart. How they're playing their game. That's it.
Thanks,
Remember,
Trix.
yeah. Remember, if you're feeling like you're not improving, and don't think for a second there ain't somebody here that probably felt like this at one time, and it doesn't matter. This could be for VGs too. I know there was a lot of VGs in here. Guess what makes good VGs in groups, right? It doesn't matter if you're void blading or not. Properly following up on your bruisers. That's the value. Take advantage of it. Yes. Yep. They're calling targets. Try to get on them, right? You can't really step too deep on the point. Rotate to the midline. Penetrate. That's what you're looking to do. Be that absolute menace of a VG, of a void blade that all bruisers hate. That every single bruiser has to respect. The void blade that'll catch you as soon as you rotate off the point. You're headhunting. That's what you're doing as a void blade. And you're helping rebuke like the G8 fight in inner lane or G7 if they get too close. That's what you're looking to do. Headhunting bruisers that rotate too far off a point and or charge out, they are in trouble. They have no charge. That's what you're looking for. Targets. And be sure to call them if you latch onto them. You're like a pit bull. VGs are like pit bulls. If once you get on somebody, it's very hard to shake them. You're going to force cleanse and everything. I will insta cleanse a void blade that jumps on me if I rotate off a point for survival. I'm insta cleansing. I respect it immediately. No playing around with it. Right? Be that VG. And how you achieve that is penetrating the midline, headhunting bruisers that are overextending off a point, and catching them outside of charges. It's brutal. And following up on targets that are being called, by the way. But yeah. Work on your micro, guys. That's what sets bruisers apart. Proper micro and consistency. And also, don't multiple VODers. You want multiple perspectives on your VODs. Don't get complacent with the same guy. No matter how good they are. Whirl, Sweezy, VODing you consistently. It's not enough. You need multiple. Get different perspectives, okay? It's going to completely change your gameplay. It really will. It really, really will. Cannot express it enough. This is how you get better.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Trix.
Yeah.
Trix, for coming.
Thanks, Trix.
Later.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Daddy.
later.
I love you.
Yeah, later, kids.
Yeah, if anybody wants to run OPRs on Hudson, I've been solo queuing and the shit's ass.
I'm coming.
I got you.
That sounds amazing.
I'm in one right